Hi, my name is Tom Woods with R2 Sports Technology. In this video, we're going to take a few minutes here and look at how you use a dashboard to scout an opposing team's offense. So in this case, we're looking at this information through the lens of a defensive coordinator or defensive staff. In these videos, what we want to do is just take a few minutes to show you how you might approach the process of breaking a team down. You're aware by now of what these dashboards are all about and how they work, what they're intended for, but we want to make sure we put some things out there for you guys to chew on and think about how you can use this capability to best be effective in what you're doing as a coach as you prepare each week for a team. So in this case, what we're looking at here is a dashboard that contains 4 games worth of film breakdown data on an offense that this team will be playing here in the next week or so. So it's a breakdown from a defensive staff. You can see some of the different things that this coordinator had broken down of this defensive staff. They got information related to offensive personnel groupings, formations, plays, all these different things you can see in here. So the thing I always encourage coaches to do when working with a dashboard is keep in mind that a dashboard is a tool to help you. It's not there to force you into a new way of thinking or to make you do things in a different way that you might not normally do. It really is intended to just help facilitate you getting the information you need as quickly as you can get it. So there's nothing here that mandates that you think any differently about how you would approach any game that you're breaking down. So I encourage coaches all the time to just start from the approach that they take in general. Now, and we'll explain that here in just one second as we look through this. A couple quick things that when I initially look at a dashboard like this. If I'm a defensive coordinator, keep in mind that color on a dashboard is indicative of offensive performance of a team. So we're looking at this our opponent's offense, and the general color that I see when I look at a dashboard like this is I see more of an orangey yellow kind of hue to this dashboard. Keep in mind, colors indicating offensive performance. What that tells me is, in general, I'm not looking at a great offense here on this dashboard. In total, this team, if we look at the team box here, they're about 41.6% efficient, which just means that about 4 out of every 10 plays are efficient, good plays that they run. So this is not a juggernaut of an offense, although certainly in certain places and in certain situations they're a pretty strong team. Now, just to give you an example of how you might approach this, we'll walk through 2 quick samples just to kind of get your feet wet a little bit and show you some ideas as to how you might approach it. Some guys, and again, you can take any approach that you want. I've met many coordinators who think about things in terms of personnel groupings. Some always want to think situationally in terms of down and distance. Some are formation guys. We're going to take a second and let's presume that we look through the lens of formations a lot. So in this case, let's look at our formation boxes over here. And we can see the primary formations that this offense tends to show. And they're pretty equally, there's about 4 big ones that they show most commonly. Trips, tray, ace, and doubles Y flex are the top 4. Again, just looking at the size of the box and the information each one of those tells us, those are the primary things they do. We're keeping in mind here that color tells us where they're good or not. So I can immediately, while I have no idea, I haven't seen this team play, wouldn't have any idea what they're really good at or not, just from absorbing information from the dashboard, I can tell that they're pretty efficient. The green color tells me they must be pretty good from trips and tray. They're not real good from a doubles Y flex. Now, so as a defensive coordinator, I may want to say, okay, let's take a look at what they would likely be showing us when they're in a trip situation. So to do that, we're going to try and just replicate in your brain the way you approach breaking a team down. Use your dashboard to support that way of thinking. So if I'm a guy who cares about formation groups or formation looks, I'm going to start just by clicking on trips, the number 1 formation group that they show us. So with each click on a dashboard, again, the information updates. So it's always filtering around just that selection. So when I click on trips, I'm now looking at everything that had something to do, everything that was run from a trips formation for this offense. So when I make a click like that, what I tend to do is begin to look at each one of these different sections. And again, we're looking in terms of size and color because that'll tell me a story. So there's information that I can begin to see that their preferences are and what they do from trips. I'll often start over here and look at play type, a quick, easy way to get a sense of whether they like to run or pass out of this formation. So we know in total, running from trips, Looking at the play type section down here, they're about a 60-40 pass versus run. Trips is a 60-40 passing formation for them. So I can see that pretty quickly. I can see some other things just looking at each one of these sections. Look over here at the position block, if you will. The number one targeted player when they're in trips is the W, probably the slot receiver in this case. I can tell just by looking at the color that they're pretty good when they go to him. So when they're in trips, they tend to pass more, and they tend to target that slot receiver, and they tend to be pretty good when they do. That's the kind of information you can start to glean very quickly. Now, if we want to mess around with this here a little bit and start to see some of the things they like to do, you can see on the play section right here, trips, the number one play out of trips is the bubble screen. It's what they tend to do the most. It's what they're looking to try and do. Now, we can go from here and now look at a bunch of different things situationally or in different parts of the field or in different locations, so many different places you could go with this. Just to give you a quick example, like we talked about here, they're a 60-40 run-pass team. So they're likely to pass more than run, and when they do pass, they're probably going to throw a bubble screen to the slot receiver. That's what we can see from this. Now, I might want to look at the exception and say, okay, what do they do? When they do run from this, they pass more than they run, but when they do run, what do they like to do? I can come over here, click on the play type of run. So now what I'm looking at is every running play that they executed out of a trips formation. And there's a couple clues there that are kind of interesting to see. If I look at the down block over here, most of the time when they run out of trips, it's usually on second down. They're usually pretty good at it. It's the bigger box in this section. They usually, if they're running out of trips, it's usually when they're on the right hash. 60% of their running plays out of trips came from the right hash. I can see that. Again, I look through each of these sections, and I'm interpreting what I see, size and color. Again, when they run, look at the offensive strength box. They tend to be strong right. So they give some pretty good clues. If you're playing this team and you see them in trips, they're probably going to throw a bubble screen. That's the thing they most like to do. And secondarily, if they do run, the triggers or the tips to you that they may run are that they're usually strong right, and they're usually on the right hash, and the play usually goes left. I can see that here, and they're pretty good when they do. So this is an example of how you can very quickly get real meaningful information out of a dashboard where you're not now going through reports and trying to piece a story together. It jumps out at you, and it's really a click, follow your train of thought, click on something, and then observe in the different sections what they tend to do. I mean, another interesting observation here, they tend, when they run from trips, they usually go into the B gap. So lots of information you can get. Again, to back out of this, I'm just going to click on my selections again to set me back where I was here. So that's one quick set of notes you could get just by looking at the trips formation. You can look through each one of these formations. Let's do one more quick little look here. Let's look at what they like to do out of a doubles Y flex formation. So if I see that look, what am I expecting to see? Again, I just simply click on it. Everything updates around. Now I'm looking at just their plays that they run from a doubles Y flex formation. We can tell they're not great when they do because that color is a deep orange. They're about 36% efficient. So while they do it a fair amount, they haven't been very successful from it. Again, my thought process may go to look at play type first. Look at this. They're basically a 90% pass situation out of a doubles Y flex formation. So you see doubles Y flex, expect the pass. If I, again, look through some of these different situations, I'll look over here. I like to go over to the position box in this case. They target the Z receiver. So it's the Z that gets targeted. And if you look at the kind of an interesting observation here, Z, when they target the Z, that's the only place they have success out of this doubles Y flex formation. It's the only thing that's blue. When they target these other receivers, they haven't had much success with it. I can tell by the red color. So if I see doubles Y flex, I'm thinking, A, they're passing. B, the only time they really have success is when they target the Z receiver on first down. I can see that over here. And the only place they have success to look at the pass zones is when they go to pass zone 5. So it's just a matter of a click and then interpreting what you see. And again, the interpretation is no more than size and color. What are they doing? So just that quickly, we can get a story that says, hey, again, trips is about bubble screens to the slot receiver. And if they do run, they're probably going to do it when they're on the right hash. Doubles Y flex means pass, and specifically it means watch the Z receiver into pass zone 5. Just that quick, you can get this type of information out and scout an opposing team's offense. Now, we have a number of these where we'll show you different ways to look at a defense and how you might self-scout. But the intent of these, again, is to help kind of trigger your thinking a little bit and to help you to bridge the gap between having access to a dashboard that can show you an awful lot of information and merging that with how you already think about scouting a team. And so bringing those two things together, they can make this a very, very powerful thing for you and your program that we're, as we work with you and our clients to help you be as successful as you can possibly be. It really is just this type of analysis. It's click on something and interpret the things you see, and just that quick you can get a story that can make a difference in helping you really know what to expect, anticipate, and beat this team. Again, a number of different videos that we're putting together for this. Hope this gives you a little bit more of a better idea how to best use these. And if you have questions, would like to learn more, there's more information here at the end of this video where you can reach out to us. We'd be happy to show you how these work and how they might be implemented on your program. Thanks for taking a few minutes.